All right, happy Sunday all, and we're up to another news of the day video. And again, there's not a whole lot to report on during this downtime, but there is still stuff going on. And I'm wearing Coyotes for a reason. We'll get to that. Now, I've talked about and we've talked about, what the NHL players might do with their last paychecks. There are people who are like, man, I don't really care what millionaires do with their last paychecks, which is fair. But again, as players looking ahead and going, all right, so do we want to put it all into escrow because we know that escrow is going to be huge going forward because of financial shortfalls in the NHL? Escrow could be a big, big deal going forward. And again, you've got a collective bargaining agreement coming up next year. They're going to have to sit down and do some negotiating, the union and the league, and figure this out. So they've pushed it back. They've said we're going to decide May 15th what we're going to do with our checks. So this gives, another month. And again, it's just, you can kick the can down the road. When it comes to contracts, when it comes to all the bonuses and all this other stuff, you can kick the can down the road. The idea being that maybe next season, instead of starting July 1st, starts on September 1st, has been discussed. And everything is being discussed. Everything's up in the air. We don't have certainty while we're looking for it. I think in general, we want certainty and we don't have it. And that can be really frustrating. Now, the Buffalo Sabres, their ownership, the Pagulas, who are not overly popular people with their fan base, they've laid off 21 at their parent company. They furloughed another 104. And they've cut pay for more than 3 dozen executives within their organizations. And they've said that this may just be the way going forward. The company may be smaller. And we may see that. We may see a lot of people who get laid off throughout this just not have the jobs to go back to. Companies may very well have to streamline everything. And the one hope you have is that other companies would be hiring coming out of all this. Because again, we don't know how the economy is going to look when it's all done. We know it's going to take a massive hit. We know that it has taken a massive hit. We have no idea which industries might spring back right away and which ones are going to take a long time to spring back to health. So Buffalo Sabres are trying, it looks like they're trying to make sure people get paid for games that have been canceled. They're trying to make sure that they don't lay people off, but they're being left in a position where they kind of sort of have to. And there are a lot of organizations and companies. The longer this goes, the more layoffs we're going to see. Now, on non-layoff news and non all of the stuff going on in the outside world that's, is what it is. In news outside of all that, Artem Sergeyev has reportedly told the KHL, yeah, I'm going to the Panthers. So he can't officially sign with the Panthers yet. And if this was a contract that might involve a potential 2019-2020, should the season come back kind of part of the contract, they can't sign it until they've decided what they're doing with the season. So he's 26 years of age, had 9 points in 53 games this year in the KHL. And we'll see. 26 years of age means it's not like a young prospect that you have to worry about cultivating in the minors. Odds are he comes over either ready to play, might need a short period of time in the minors to get accustomed to North American ice, but odds are if the Panthers are signing him, they believe he can come over, adjust quickly, and play for the team. And they definitely can use the depth on defense. So, sounds like it's going to be a good overall move for Florida, and he's ready to come over. The Coyotes have been holding meetings with their players over the last week. And what's happening, and I'm sure other teams are doing this as well. So we have this sort of off season, and of course we've talked about it, that the playoffs could be in August, and then we'd have like a shortened off season, and then the next season starts up in potentially November, and it's going to squash everything down. So what they're doing is kind of like a modified exit interview. At the end of any given season, you'll sit down with your employer if you're an NHL player, and they'll decide where you're going next year and what the plan is and what they want you to work on over the summer, this kind of stuff. And so they're kind of having these discussions with players in terms of, okay, when you come back, this is what we're looking for. This is what the plan is. And also including some stuff about next year. So it's a modified exit interview along with the idea of, okay, if we come back and start playing again, here's the plan. And I'm wearing the Coyotes jersey because John Chayka has been doing a ton during this period. And I know there are a lot of organizations doing a lot. And on the NHL's website, they've actually got a link that shows what all of their sponsors are doing during this crisis in and around us. And so it's heartwarming to see Cheka, a guy who could just stay at home and just say I'm not getting involved, and he is absolutely getting involved, and he's definitely doing his best to help out, and people who help out in the community, that can be huge. We look at the Las Vegas Golden Knights and the great first year that they had. I did the video on them this morning where I talked about it, and the first thing that really happened, which galvanized Vegas with the team, was that coming out of the tragedy that occurred shortly before the team took to the ice, that they were out in the community and that they supported the community and they bonded with the community. So there are fans and players, fans and management, fans and non-fans. This is the other part of it as well. For John Chayka to be out and doing all of this, for people in Arizona who might have been like, I don't really care about hockey, they might look at what this guy's doing and say, you know, when those guys come back, I'll be interested to see what happens with them. So kudos to him. That's the Arizona jersey. And we'll see what other wonderful stuff gets done by people who have the ability and the means to help. And so that's key right now. They were talking about coaches, and I think this goes to the players as well. Maintaining routine. Maintaining routine is a challenge. And I know even for me, and I work from home, but there was a certain routine that the hockey schedule gave me, where there was a certain time of day where I had to be uploading, certain time of night I had to be uploading, and I had a routine. And now that's kind of gone. We don't have all the big name signings. We don't have trades. We don't have stuff going on that I normally would be, there's been a trade at 6 a.m. my time, but I got to get up, get myself awake and get a video done. That's not happening. So it's knocked everybody's routine out. And for players and coaches, they're trying to find new routines and find a way to keep themselves mentally and physically ready for when things come back. We're seeing more and more hockey players out playing in their garage, playing ball hockey, which is awesome. That's great. I love seeing that. And it's not the same, obviously, as playing on the ice. It's just not. But at least, it's showing that players and athletes, they want to get back at it. And they do. And they want, obviously in a safe manner, but they want to get back at it. Max Pacioretty, an article that was on NHL.com a couple days ago, and I thought I'd talk about this here because I know this is an ongoing discussion we've been having, is, so what would the 2020 playoffs look like? Well, they're going through different formats and discussions on different ways to make it work. But one thing is, Pacioretty looks at these playoffs and he's saying, you know what? Everybody's going to be healthy. So the quote that I've taken from that is, for me, I look at it as one of the most special playoffs since I can remember. Teams won't have any excuses. It's going to be your full team ready to go and ready to rock. Keeping in mind, Vegas was 15-5-2 after the coaching change to Peter DeBoer. And he's right. Should the NHL playoffs take place this summer, we will see mostly healthy teams. We will not see fan bases being able to go, well, we got knocked out, but we were playing with half our roster. You're going to see healthy teams. The one challenge, of course, and part of that routine being the challenge, is fitness. There are going to be players who, if their fitness level isn't able to be NHL ready, you're going to see groin injuries. You're going to see injuries related to conditioning, and then you're going to have stamina problems as well. But this is, I think, why the NHL really would like to see some form of regular season wrap, whether it's just playing a week's worth of regular season games or week and a half, just something so that they can have those games to say, okay, now guys are ready, and here we go, and then we're straight into the playoffs. Again, it's a matter of, yes, it has to be a safe environment, but we are looking at numbers right now that have got better. The numbers have got better over the last, I'll say, 6 weeks, because it's been almost 6 weeks for me at home. So it's been that, and definitely just society-wise, people are doing, I think, basically as well as can be expected in these situations and under these circumstances. But if we can get some form of sports back, because again, if you watch TV, you've got either the reruns, you've got the news, and there's not really a whole lot else. I mean, Netflix, you can watch movies, but there's only so much before you're like, okay, so it's day 41 of watching Netflix. Maybe I need to watch something else. And definitely Netflix's numbers have been great, but even Netflix's numbers kind of hit that peak right away, and they've started going down a little bit too, because again, people are looking for something else to do. So when sports returns, and they will, on some level, in some way, we're going to see, I think, some of the most competitive sports we've ever seen, because these players have all been chomping at the bit to go out and play, and this is their job. So for people who are waiting to go back to work, sports athletes are there as well. Yeah, they're well off. They make a lot of money. They've got really nice homes, and they could just sit there. They don't want to do that. That's part of the reason why they make so much money, because their whole life has been building towards this moment. And for a lot of players, you'd have to look at 2020 and say, okay, well, this might have been our best chance, and now it's gone. We look at the 04-05 lost season, and there are definitely teams that could look at that lost season and say, what could have been? Ottawa Senators being in that realm, Detroit Red Wings, Colorado. There's a lot of teams that missed 04-05 season. Tampa Bay could have won 2 straight Stanley Cups, and we'll never know. So it is something that definitely is going to be on players' minds. There's players as well that would have then just played their last games, and we had no idea. And so they didn't get like a proper send-off, which is important. So yes, I agree that, without fans in attendance, you lose something. But with healthy teams out there, and with the fact that, we're going to have gone months without sports at that point, it would be nice to have that back. Because again, when hockey's over, I can sit and watch a baseball game. I can watch the last round of a golf tournament. I watch NASCAR. I can watch F1 races. I'm trying to think of IndyCar. Sometimes I watch Indy. Like, I just watch sports. It's what I do. My channel's about hockey, but I watch sports during the summer as well, because it's fun. So, and it's something that's a bit of a distraction. So, we will see that distraction return in a different form until we're better equipped. We're not better equipped yet. So yeah, I'm hoping to see this happen, and to see the most competitive. He's saying, Max Pacioretty said as well, it's going to be the most difficult Stanley Cup to win ever, because every team will be healthy and motivated, and that could lead to some of the best hockey we've ever seen. So there you go. My fingers are crossed. We'll see it, and we'll definitely see how that turns out, and where and how. But I'll be here to report on it if/when it happens, or when the NHL says, well, we tried and it's not going to happen. So when the day comes that happens as well, I'll be ready to report on that too, because I'm here. So hey, thank you guys so much for being out there and for watching. It means a lot. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. And again, stay home if you can. Keep yourself safe as much as possible. And keep your hands nice and clean. Always wash your hands. Very, very important. Thank you guys again for all your support during this time. I will talk to you again soon.